Hello everyone. Thanks for being here. So as some of you might already know, this talk series, this is called Shiva, Struggles Against Censorship, and then we have lecture series called Crossing Censorship. Shiva is basically the first program of Siamak Pourzand Foundation, in which we invite artists, activists, journalists to talk about their experiences of censorship and self-censorship in Iran, usually inside and outside Iran. This is the first talk that we have that will be in English, but we'll have Gilar Khoshgozaran translating parts of the talk for you, for those of you who don't know English or might have difficulty understanding it. So real quick, I'm going to read Maral's bio, and then from there we will start the talk. Maral Pourkazemi is an Iranian designer who was born in Hamburg, Germany, and now lives and works in London. In early 2012, Maral graduated from her master's thesis, a massive infographic explaining how censorship works in Iran and how it affects the users from inside or even outside the country. Design is my conviction and my religious. She strongly believed that design has the potential to make important and relevant topics accessible and to make the invisible visible. Ms. Pourkazemi is the head of a little but powerful creative department at Small Media Labs, a non-profit based in London that promotes the free flow of information in closed societies such as Iran. According to her boss, she designs for social change. Before and after office hours, she works on freelance projects, organizes conferences, or simply does drawings. Okay, so I'm just going to do the Farsi one. مارال هنرمند ایرانی و متولد هامبورگ آلمان است. او در حال حاضر در لندن زندگی می‌کند و مشغول به کار است. وی در سال 2012 مدرک کارشناسی ارشد خود را با ارائه پایان‌نامه حجمی در ارتباط با تصویرسازی سانسور آنلاین و بررسی تاثیرات آن بر کاربران داخل و خارج از ایران دریافت کرد. دیزاین اعتقاد و دین من است. او قویاً بر این باور است که دیزاین این پتانسیل را دارد تا اطلاعات مهم و مربوط را قابل دسترس و هر آنچه که نامرئی است را مرئی کند. مارال در حال حاضر رئیس بخش کوچک ولی خلاق و قدرتمند آزمایشگاه رسانه‌های کوچک، نهادی غیرانتفاعی در لندن است که آزادی جریان اطلاعات در جوامع بسته را ترویج می‌کند. مارال برای تغییر در شرایط اجتماعی دیزاین می‌کند. او همچنین در اوقات فراغت خود به پروژه‌های آزاد و جانبی‌اش پرداخته و کنفرانس‌های متفاوتی را سازماندهی کرده و گاه فقط طراحی می‌کند. All right, Maral, we're ready for you.
Okay. Thank you for the introduction. I'm going to start my timer here. Thank you to the foundation for inviting me, for having me here. I'm very pleased to be able to talk in my very first online lecture about my work. So why am I here? I created, as already said, an infographic about the Iranian internet. That was in early 2012. And before I can go into the visuals and actually explain what censorship looks like, because I, as a designer, work visually, I want to tell you why I did this project. So I'm going to tell you the story of the motivation of why I did this work. So my story with the Iranian internet and the censorship started the first time in 2008 when I visited Iran and when I, for myself, experienced the censorship when I used the internet myself on a trip to visit my family. I was just going to show my cousin an online shop, a German online shop, where there's just clothes, there's not even bikinis or underwear there. And it just didn't show, it didn't load. It took probably about 10 minutes for the browser to tell me that you cannot access this website. That was in 2008. That's quite a long time ago. Then when I went to that was during my studies when I did my bachelor thesis, so it was not even my master's time. I came back, and in 2009, as we all know, we had elections and they turned out to be quite ugly. And what's fascinated me, knowing and experiencing this little, with this little experience that I had, that the internet in Iran is very slow and very hard to work with, was that from the moment on when the journalists were kicked out the country, when the protests began in the big city streets, I saw that on YouTube, on Facebook, and on many blogs and other websites, they were used to get the flow of information, let's call it the flow of information, from inside the country, from inside Iran to the outside world. So this is, first of all, where citizen journalism was used in a democratic way on the internet. For me, it was the very first time where I saw that the internet can be used in this way. And I was fascinated. I was fascinated by how creative and how fearless many users were by uploading videos, because what later on I realized, and what I'm going to talk about as well, is that using the internet in Iran it's nothing new, but it's also not very secure in real life. It's not only virtually insecure, it's also in reality insecure. So that's the backstory of how I got inspired, how I got very hooked by this idea of how people use the internet when there is censorship still existing. So I applied for a master's thesis in Germany, in the city Potsdam, it's FHP, and I wanted to dedicate my master thesis to this particular topic. I wanted to show, and I didn't know in what way at that time, but I wanted to inform people about internet in Iran and the users in Iran. I didn't know how.
And then you can pause there for a second, Marjan, so I can translate so far what you said. Gela, your microphone is off.
اول میخواستم از بنیاد سیامک پورزند تشکر کنم به خاطر اینکه منو دعوت کردم برای سخنرانی. این اولین سخنرانی آنلاین منه درباره این موضوع. در سال 2009 من اسمال میدیا رو بنیانگذاری کردم و شروع کردم، ولی میخوام راجع به این صحبت کنم که چرا اصلا علاقه من به این موضوع چیه و اینکه چرا من روی این ماجرا تحقیق میکنم، سانسور اینترنت در ایران. اولین مواجهه من با این موضوع برمیگرده به سال 2008 که به ایران رفته بودم تا خانواده‌مو ببینم و میخواستم که یه فروشگاه آنلاین لباس رو که توی آلمان بود به کازینم، دخترم و پسرمون نشون بدم. بعد یه چیزی حدود 10 دقیقه طول کشید که من تازه بفهمیم که این وبسایت توی ایران فیلتر شده و اصلا ما نمیتونیم بهش دسترسی پیدا کنیم. از اونجا شد که من به این نسبت به این قضیه حساس شدم و برام جالب شد و به این شروع کردم و بعد از اونم که سال 2009 اعتراضای خیابونی و جنبش سبز و اینها شروع شد و زمانی که روزنامه‌نگارا رو دولت از ایران رسما انداخت بیرون و دیگه اجازه نداد که به طور رسمی هیچ خبری از ایران مخابره بشه، اینکه دیدن اینکه کاربرای عادی چطوری خبرها رو از کشور به همه میرسوندن از طریق اینترنت و اولین بار بود که سیتیزن جورنالیسم شروع شد. یعنی اولین بار بود که من خودم شاهد سیتیزن جورنالیسم بودم و قدرت اون و اینکه چقدر کاربرا خلاق بودن و چقدر شجاع بودن توی رسوندن اخبار به بیرون از کشور. بخاطر اینکه استفاده از اینترنت در ایران هم خیلی خطرناکه، هم خیلی خطر جدی داره. اینطوری شد که برام جالب شد روی این قضیه تحقیق کنم و به دانشگاه FHP برای مدرک فوق لیسانس هم اپلای کردم و خواستم که اصلا تز خودم رو روی این قضیه بنویسم. You can go on.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so what you're gonna see now is basically a designer's view and the designer's research on the Iranian internet. I'm going to screen share because I want to show you exactly how my research started. I want to tell you who I got in touch with, and can you all hear me? Okay, sorry. Okay, so I started studying, and then sorry, I need to start the screen share. Okay, can you all see this information pool visual?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is the first draft of the information that I gathered. I'm going to go into detail in a bit, but before that, I need to tell you how I got this information. So it was when, of course, I asked myself, how am I ever going to be able to find out about internet censorship as the designer? But the question was really quickly answered, and I got in touch with people like journalists who were reporting about this specific issue for many years already, but weren't heard by the mass media. So they were aware of monitoring centers being used in Iran, or in other countries, of European companies trading with Iran, but their stories were never big enough. Nonetheless, I still got in touch with them. I got more contacts from them, and I visited conferences. One of them was inside what was called Inside Iran, hosted in Berlin, where I also got in touch with small media. So I got to know a lot of experts. I got to know a few activists, a few bloggers, and a lot of journalists. So with their information that they gave me and the information that I found myself, I have created this this information pool, and this is how I structured this. Here you can see how I tried to structure for the very first time the information that I gathered, because if we talk about infographics or about data visualization, you talk about data, and data is something quantitative. It's Excel sheets, it is numbers, it is facts that you can put into a spreadsheet and then visualize from there on. But in this specific case of the Iranian internet, there is no numbers, and if there's numbers, they are most definitely faulty. So I'd rather like to say that this project that I worked on was an infographic, because information and design are two separate things that you can deal with in the same way. Information is more qualitative than quantitative, but it still has you can visualize it with the same. In my opinion, it's even more relevant than data sometimes, and that's because it is qualitative. So the qualitative data, qualitative information gathered is I categorize it in three major cores. One of them is the virtual identity. I'm going to tell you about this in a bit. And then we have the real identity, and then we have the personal level. This was the first draft of trying to figure out the relationships between the information that I found. So as an example, in the virtual identity, that is your virtual persona, let's say. Let's say you are on Facebook. That's where you exist in the virtual level, but you also exist in the real level and in the reality, of course. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to create a Facebook account. But on the real level of this draft that I have here, there's not you only, but all the threats that become real if you use your own online persona in a way that disrupts or angers the authorities in Iran. So you've got the cyber army, you've got the Iranian government itself, you've got what do we have here? Well, the reality that only a part of the I'll show that later on, a really little part of Iranians' population is online, and from there, from the real identity, we drop down to the personal level, which is qualitative again, where we have case studies of people who were in trouble because of, or the string would be like this: your online persona gets in trouble or in the eye by the real by the real threats in reality in the present outside of the internet. And then these are stories. They result into stories of users, individual users, that were in trouble because of their online identity. I hope this is kind of clear. Okay, so we're probably going to have a break now and translate this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
این چیزی که میخوام الان نشون بدم دیدگاه یک دیزاینر روی اینترنت ایرانه و میخوام توضیح بدم که من از کجا شروع کردم این تزمو. من یه اینفورمیشن پول یا یه خزانه از اطلاعات درست کردم و بعد اینکه چطوری به این اطلاعات دست پیدا کردم، خب یه سری با خبرنگارایی که با این قضیه دست و پنجه نرم می‌کردن ارتباط برقرار کردم، بعد اونا منو به یه سری آدمای دیگه آشنا کردن و بعد از طریق اونا یه سری کنفرانس ها رفتم و با اسمال میدیا آشنا شدم و بعد با بلاگرها، خبرنگارا و یه سری کنشگرای سیاسی و اجتماعی آشنایی پیدا کردم و صحبت کردم. دیتا یا چیزی که داده‌ای که توی دیتا ویژوالایزیشن استفاده می‌کنیم یک چیز کمیه و توی دیتا ویژوالایزیشن یا تصویرسازی داده ما این کمیت ها رو میایم به صورت تصویری نشون میدیم. اما چیزی که در مورد اینترنت، سانسور اینترنت ایران هست اینه که هیچ عدد و رقمی وجود نداره و چیزی که ما داریم اینفورمیشن یا اطلاعات، نه داده. بنابراین من اومدم این اینفورمیشن یا اطلاعاتی که دارم و به سه دسته طبقه بندی کردم و این دسته ها همشون کیفی هستن و نه کمی، برخلاف داده. دسته اول رو گذاشتم هویت مجازی، مثل فیسبوک پروفایل شما، مثل اون اسم مثلا مستعاری که توی اینترنت استفاده میکنیم به عنوان کاربر. دسته دوم هستش هویت حقیقی یا واقعی شما که میتونه کاربر باشه، میتونه دولت باشه، میتونه ارتش سایبری دولت باشه. و دسته‌بندی سوم که به یک سطح شخصیه، یعنی خیلی من توی دسته‌بندی سوم کیس استادی یا مطالعه موردی کردم و راجع به کسایی کار کرده بودم که به طور شخصی به خاطر استفاده از اینترنت دچار مشکل شده بودن یا دولت براشون، یعنی که استفادهشون از اینترنت به طور شخصی براشون مشکل ایجاد کرده بود و دولت اذیتشون کرده بود به خاطر این قضیه. You can keep going.
Right. So from this messy image that I gathered first and visualized in this very simplistic way for myself to identify the relationships between those little information pieces that I had, I came to simplify this, and I created the following visual, which is much clearer, and the framework or the baseline of what I designed after this. So what I figured out was, from my research, I realized that internet censorship in Iran doesn't mean that that there are only a few websites blocked every day. It is much more complicated than that, and there's much more layered than that. So internet censorship in reality should in the case of Iran should rather be explained or talked about as online repression. So this is the basic structure. But I started with I started with with a few numbers of urban and rural populations in Iran and how many of those are connected. Then there's going to be a zoom in into the part that is connected, and there I discussed the idea of the halal network, the halal internet. From there we go to the free internet, or what we think is free, because in Iran you use circumvention tools in order to get around censorship, and then we have, from there we take a look at the blogosphere, but just a really tiny section of that, which is based on a blog aggregating website. So that is the only panel of all of these 6 panels that is based on real data. From the blogosphere, we go to the cyber criminals. So the cyber criminals, I'd like to call them cyber criminals because that's how the authorities see these people. And we're going to discuss all of these later on. And then in the end, where the power about all of the decisions made in each of these fields comes from, and that's the regime. These lines here represent basically, they show you visually that even though you think you're free in here, the cyber army and the regime always has, has a hood on you. It doesn't allow you to, or even though you think you're free, you're never really free. Right. So screen is not shared anymore. Good. So I would like to jump in right into the first panel and explain what we see here. I'm going to screen share again. Okay. Okay, sure. We can do a translation now, if that's okay.
Sure. خب من اومدم برای اینکه رابطه بین این اطلاعاتی که داشتم رو پیدا کنم، اینو یه کمی یه جور دیگه، یه دیزاین دیگه طراحی کردم برای این اطلاعاتی که داشتم و بعد یه سری پنل طراحی کردم که فکر میکنم 6 تا هستن. اولین اونا این بودش که چه کسی اصلا یه سری اطلاعات راجع به کاربرای اینترنتی توی ایران بود که اصلا چه کسی اینترنت استفاده میکنه، از جماعت روستایی، از جماعت شهری و غیره. و بعد دومیش شبکه حلال بود که اصلا یعنی مثلا اینترنت حلال چیه، یا چه چیزی آزاده، چه چیزی نیست، چه چیزی باید استفاده بشه یا نشه. و بعد ایده اینترنت آزاد که حتی زمانی که ما فکر کنیم که به یه سری وبسایت دسترسی پیدا می‌کنیم، این معنیش صرفاً الزاماً این نیستش که اینترنت آزاد داریم. حتی با وجود اینکه آدما یعنی کاربرا توی ایران از سرورهای پراکسی استفاده می‌کنن یا فیلتر شکنایی مثل VPN و غیره. این 3 تا پنل از اوله و بعد فکر می‌کنم الان مارال می‌خواد زوم کنه و دونه دونه اینا رو توضیح بده یا اینکه بره ستای بعدی. Yeah, you can keep going.
Okay. So what we're going to do is to jump in right into the graphics that I created. For that, I'm going to screen share again. So many of you probably, I don't know many, a few of you probably saw this infographic that I created somewhere online. This is the whole panel here with six graphics right next to each other. What we're going to do now is to go through them one by one. The first one is the panel that explains you how many people in Iran are connected and how many aren't. Now let's zoom in. So this is going to be okay. This string here, this little block of white, is the rural population, which is only 28% of the entire population. The rest of the population lives in urban areas, and then the black field here. This is black represents connected, white represents not connected. As you can see here, only people in the urban areas are connected. I might have to say that this graphic is, as I said, it was created in 2011, but in the end of 2011, and I graduated in early 2012, so this might not be with this graphic. So this black field is the relation of how many people in the urban areas are connected. And then what we can go a little bit closer. Whoops. Okay. And then there are different sources, right? I said like this. The problem with this was that I wanted to find out what the exact number of people is who are online inside Iran. It's impossible to find that out because, first of all, there's no proper study about finding out this number. You can find out numbers, but these numbers are so different from each other. As an example, we have the Internet World Stats, who claim that Iran has a connectivity of 47%, and on the other hand, the Iranian authorities claim that internet penetration is only at about 14.7%. So the gap between these two numbers is massive. And for data visualization, you usually pick one number, or you actually, the research about a number that you're trying to find out is usually quite in a range that you can find an average out from. But in this case, there was no way that I could divide this number into something that would meet in the middle. The diversity was too high. So in that sense, I decided to show both numbers in order to show the diversity of data. As well, I did the same thing for a statement about Facebook penetration, as Facebook members from inside Iran. So in this scenario here, we had the Iranian authorities claiming in the beginning of 2012 that 22.8% of internet users were on Facebook. At that point, I was still thinking that this is the percentage of people using the internet. 2 weeks after this statement, there was another statement from an Iranian authority claiming that only 8% of Facebook users, of the Iranian urban population is online, on Facebook. So again, we have a massive gap between two numbers, but these numbers are not from two different, necessarily very different sources. They are both from Iranian authorities. So again, you have this diversity of data, which you could, claim, or you could think of something strategical, that this intransparency of information is probably part of the game. This is something that I personally started believing when I did the research for this. So saying two numbers here about only one item, which is Facebook, is just one single piece, and we will have a few more that I will tell you about. And everybody talks about the Iranian blogosphere, right? So in the media, it is always praised as one of the biggest and most active blogospheres in the world, right after China. But in relation to the internet penetration in Iran, and in relation to the internet penetration in Iran, the blogosphere is only a sub-fraction. So it's not even, it's probably like 10%, not even 10%, it's 1% of what we think is online, who we think is online. So when the Western media talks about a powerful blogosphere, seeing this in relation to who's online and who's not should make you think a little bit about how media represents things online, and then about these kind of topics. Right. So this is the first one. I think we can have a translation now.
Thank you. اوکی، میخوام حالا الان برم سراغ پنل اول و زوم کنم روش و با جزئیات نشون بدم که راجع به چی هستش. پنل اول نشون میده که چند نفر توی ایران به اینترنت دسترسی دارن و از این چند نفر چه بخششون یا چه درصدشون جمعیت روستاییه و چه درصدی جمعیت شهری. قسمت‌های سیاهی که می‌بینید کسایی هستش، بخشی از جمعیتی هستش که دسترسی به اینترنت داره، بخشای سفید نشون دهنده کسانی هستش که دسترسی به اینترنت ندارن یا از اینترنت استفاده نمی‌کنن. جمعیت روستایی تقریباً هیچ دسترسی به اینترنت نداره طبق چیزی که من سال 2011 داشتم روش تحقیق می‌کردم. این ممکنه تغییر کرده باشه توی 2 سال اخیر، به خاطر اینکه هیچ تأسیساتی وجود نداره که بتونی به اینترنت دسترسی پیدا کنی توی اون نواحی، توی اون مناطق. طبق آماری که من پیدا کردم، بر اساس گفته internetworldstats.com 47% جمعیت ایران در سال 2011 آنلاین بوده یا به اینترنت دسترسی داشته. ولی پیدا کردن عدد صحیح، عدد واقعی این درصد خیلی سخته، به خاطر اینکه هر کدوم از منابع یه حرفی میزنن. مثلا منابع دولت خود ایران میگفتن که نفوذ اینترنت توی ایران توی سال 2011 فقط 14.7% بوده. این نشون میده که چقدر این داده ها متنوع، مختلف و گونه گونن و اینکه اصلا همشون یک دست و یک چیز نیستن. و این شد که من نمیتونستم، چون این عددا انقدر شکاف بینشون زیاد بود که من نمیتونستم بیام یه میانگین بگیرم بین این 47% و 14.7%. بنابراین تصمیم گرفتم که جفتشون نشون بدم توی این تصویرسازی که انجام دادم یا همین دیاگرام که انجام دادم. دوباره حالا یه آمار دیگه که باز خیلی متفاوته و یه جوری متناقضه، منابع دولت ایران میگفتن که 22.1 بار گفتن که همون سال 2011 22.8% کاربران اینترنت توی ایران از فیسبوک استفاده میکنن. بعد 2 هفته دیگه همون منابع گفتن که فقط 8% کاربرای ایرانی از فیسبوک استفاده میکنن. این نشون میداد که این داده ها چقدر غیر شفافن و چقدر گنگن. و بعد اون بخش پایینی که میبینید بلاگستان یا همون بلاگسفیر اینترنت ایران که رسانه های غربی اتفاقا خیلی راجبش حرف میزنن و اینکه طبق آمار بزرگترین کاربرای بزرگترین جمعیت وبلاگ نویس بعد از چین مال ایرانه. ولی وقتی نگاه میکنین توی این جدول، توی این تصویرسازی وقتی نگاه میکنین، این مقدار حتی یه چیزی حدود 10% یا کمتر از 10% از کاربران اینترنت ایران رو نشون میده. بنابراین این فکر می‌کنم که این تصویر ایده خوبی به شما میده از اینکه رسانه‌های غربی چجوری یه مسئله رو مطرح میکنن ولی در واقعیت این قضیه چجوری هستش. Maral, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm here. Good. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yep.
It's not on mute. Okay. Good. So that was the first panel. The next panel is going to show you the zoom into the black field of the first panel. This panel, I called it the expansion of the halal internet. What that really, so this is information, this is an idea as information, because there is no data whatsoever about something that we like to call the halal internet. So what does halal actually mean? I don't think I have to explain it to Iranians more than I mean, I shouldn't probably explain it too long. It just means, in this scenario, it means clean and approved, and this term has been used quite a lot when talking about the Iranian internet. I'm going to explain this visual right now. You can see this is a network visualization, right? So you can see connectivity everywhere. You can see that the strings are connected, you have thin lines, you have thick lines. What do the thick lines mean? And what is this core within this graphic? So the core, where you see the thick lines and where you have the black blocks here and outside you have the white blocks, is representing, or this is like the idea of the Iranian internet. It's a core. It's obviously the internet itself is not a geographic place. But in order for me to visualize how censored internet, or how censored internet could look like, I had to create a map. So in this scenario, Iran is in the core because we talk about Iran in this specific graphic, and the thick lines in this graphic represent slow and painful connections. These little blocks that are going through these thick lines and very slow connections are data packages. These are sent and received by users. This is a user. These three lines here and there are routers. And why are there routers? Because routers come from Iranian ISPs, internet service provider, and an internet service provider is visualized with this big block. This thing in the middle is a server of a internet service provider. So the black ones are the Iranian internet service providers. There's obviously more, but in this it wasn't necessary to be accurate about numbers, because I was trying to not be specific about the numbers of ISPs. The message here was to deliver the idea of a censored and captured internet. So it is captured, but captured in a way that when you try to communicate to the outside world, which is here, this is the outside world. Everything around the core is everything else other than Iran. White blocks are foreign internet service providers. And the black squares here are data packages sent and received by users outside Iran. Every white package is from Iran and sent to Iran. So if we think about the internet as this geographic place that I visualized here, we have borders just like countries when you look at a geographic map. These borders are sometimes blocked. So that means that, for example, if 100 people, let's say, I'm just throwing out numbers here, it might not be correct, but just to give you a story, let's say, for example, there are 100 people using all the same VPN connection. The Iranian authorities will at some point realize that through this specific channel there's a lot of noise, and what they will do is they will investigate and then they will close this gate to the outside world, this channel that these 100 people used to get out. So that's where a borderline gets drawn. When there's and other times when there's no border, there's you can try and get out of the internet, the censored internet, by using circumvention tools. Everything that happens in the Iranian internet is monitored and watched. This eye in the middle is what I used for visualizing the Iranian monitoring centers, cyber army, whatever you want to call it. Everything that we can describe as online repression is coming from this thing here. What happens here, like the very easy idea of, or not easy, it's not easy, but the basic idea of internet surveillance is that you have a monitoring center, you have specific institutions who can unpack the data packages that you send and receive. So that means that if you send an email from your account to somebody else, on the way to the other person, Iranian cyber army or surveillance institutions, they can look into your package, into your email, and either disrupt the connection and not let it send, because that is something that a few people told me who are visiting Iran, that when they send emails, they never actually they never ended up in the inbox of who they wanted the email to be with. That's just one example. So it's not only emails, it's also when when you try to go on a website. So if you are here, or let's say let's go here. If you are this user and you want to go to YouTube by using your circumvention tool, but your channel is blocked, you can't go to YouTube because YouTube is outside the country. It's not inside the Iranian internet. So that's why this data package gets blocked, and you will get a 403, or nowadays it's a default website that tells you to go to other nice websites that are approved by Iranian authorities. That was this panel. You can have a translation here.
Okay, thanks, Maral. خب من میخوام زوم کنم روی این پنل و نشون بدم که این تصویرسازی به چه معنی میده. هر کدوم از این عناصر تصویری که اینجا میبینین نشون دهنده یا سمبل چی هستش. این تصویرسازی که من انجام دادم نشون دهنده توسعه یا بسط اینترنت حلال هستش که حالا حلال به معنی مجاز و اون چیزی که مجازه و اجازه داده میشه توسط دولت ایران. اینترنت همونجوری که میدونین یه مکان جغرافیایی نیست، ولی من برای اینکه بتونم این تصویرسازی رو انجام بدم باید یه نقشه طراحی می‌کردم. در نقشه من اون هسته یا اون مرکزی که می‌بینین ایران هستش و بعد هر چیزی خارج از اون اینترنتی هستش که خارج از ایران وجود داره. خطهای سیاهی که میبینین که این 4 تا بلاک رو به هم دیگه وصل میکنه جریان مخابره داده بسیار کند توی ایران هستش. همونطور که میبینین اون دونه های سفید، اون بلاک، اون مربع‌های سفیدی که میبینین حالا به معنی داده اگه باشه، و بعد اون بلاک های سیاهی که میبینین، اون 4 تا مثلا کاشی سیاهی که میبینین توی 4 طرف، اونا ISP ها یا ISP میدونیم چیه، ISP های ایرانی هستن. و بعد فضای خارج از این ISP ها یا فضای خارج از ایران اینترنتی هستش که توسط ISP های غیر ایرانی فراهم میشه، یا همون بلاک های سفیدی که اینجا داریم میبینیم. بعد اون بسته های سفید، اون پکیج های سفیدی که میبینین، مربع کوچولوهایی که روی این مدارا هستن، سفیدا داده هایی هستن که از ایران مخابره میشن، از ایران یا به ایران، و سیاها داده هایی هستن که از خارج از ایران یا به خارج از ایران مخابره میشن. یعنی مثلا اگه ایمیلی از ایران به خارج فرستاده میشه، اونا اون پکیج‌های سفید هستن. بعد اینکه این چطوری کار میکنه، همونطور که میبینین اینجا یه سری مرز وجود داره. اگه ما اینو به صورت نقشه تصور کنیم، اینجا همیشه یه سری مرز وجود داره و بعد مثلا اینکه چطوری کار میکنه، یا اینکه چطوری یه وبسایتی بلاک میشه، یا مثلا VPN یه مدت کار میکنه یه مدت کار نمیکنه. اینترنت ایران همونطور که میدونین توسط مقامات دائما داره نظارت میشه بهش، و بعد اینا نگاه میکنن وقتی مثلا 100 نفر آدم از VPN استفاده میکنن، اینا اون کانالی رو که اینا از طریق اون به اینترنت دسترسی پیدا کردن، این مثلا 100 کاربر پیدا میکنن و اون کانال رو میبندن. اینطوری هستش که بعد از اون دیگه مثلا شما نمیتونید به اون وبسایت دسترسی پیدا کنید از طریق VPN. اون چشمی که اون وسط توی این هسته این تصویرسازی میبینین هم در واقع اون ارتش سایبری یا اون نظارت دائمیه که همواره به هر گونه مخابره‌ای که توی اینترنت ایران انجام میشه دولت همچنان همیشه داره. و مثلا من مثلا از چند نفر از یک نفر شنیده بودم که مثلا ایمیلی که از ایران فرستاده بوده هرگز نرسیده به خارج از ایران، مثلا سر راه که جایی توی این مرزا گیر کرده. ولی این صرفا نمیتونه، این محدود به ایمیل نمیشه. اینکه مثلا شما به یوتیوب هم دسترسی پیدا کنین همینطوری کار میکنه، خاطر اینکه یوتیوب یه وبسایتی هستش که از طریق این ISP های سفیدی که غیر از ایرانی هستن پروواید میشه یا فراهم میشه. بنابراین اونم باز سر این مرزها میتونه دسترسی شما بهش قطع بشه. Maral, you can keep going.
Okay. So we'll just really quickly go to the next one. We are going to have a look at a zoom in to what actually happens here. What happens here is that Iranian users can escape this so-called halal internet. How does that work? That only works if you have circumvention tools. For my infographic, I only looked at two common ways, two most common ways. Most of you surely know Tor, the Tor project. It's a service, or it's a browser that allows you to access websites outside Iran. So I think, because this is very technical, I'll really briefly explain how this works. On this side, the T stands for Tor. On this side, you have the V for VPN. So the Tor browser, the Tor project, the way it works is that, imagine you have an onion, right? So what we're going to look at a pathway of a data package from inside Iran to the outside world and then back. So how do you send a request, or how does it work when you send a request of accessing, let's say, Facebook, which is blocked inside Iran, and how does that work? So we're looking at this user here with the T. This guy has this is a zoom in into that. This guy has a Tor browser, has Tor installed on his machine. What he does is that he types in a website of which he thinks is not available inside the halal internet. His package goes on a journey, right? His request goes on a journey to another user who has Tor installed as well. This user receives the data package that the original user sent out, repackages it. It pretends that the data package that he is about to send out is from him and not from the original user. So the sender constantly gets changed. This happens another time with another user. So this user here receives the data package of this one and thinks that it comes from this one and could possibly trace that it comes from it, but it doesn't. So here it gets another stamp, and then 3 or 5 ways, it will happen 3 or 5 times, and then finally you get outside. At some point you get outside of the Iranian internet, and your data package comes to a person outside the country, who will then send the package back with the website that the original user requested. This is very anonymous because it is very hard to trace. It is quite hard to trace back who the original user was. But sometimes, it's also not entirely secure because it's a technical thing again. So it might be that the data package sent from this one might be labeled the wrong way, and maybe the address of the original user is still on the data package and it still remains on the disk. So it's not entirely secure, but the purpose of Tor is to stay anonymous. The flip side of this is that the connection that by using Tor is painfully slow. That's the only flip side. Then on the other side you have VPN connections, much faster than the VPN connections, and not anonymous but encrypted. So this here is a zoom in into this guy here. This guy inside Iran has a VPN connection, and what happens when you have a VPN connection is that your computer inside Iran pretends to be in the network of somebody outside Iran, and therefore, let's say you're in Tehran and your computer thinks that you are somewhere in Berlin, right? So if you have a VPN connection to somebody who lives in, or a service or a person who lives in Berlin, it might be that you are, it pretends to be a device inside the network of somebody living in Berlin. And therefore, it's encrypted. It's also quite, it's not quite, I mean, none of these ways to circumvent censorship are anywhere near secure. All of these are breakable and all of these are traceable, but you know, you can get out of the internet and out of the hand of the internet. So this is very quickly how Tor and VPN works. I'm ready for translation.
Okay. خب این دوباره یه زوم دیگه هست از اینکه دو راه دسترسی، یعنی خارج شدن از اینترنت حلال توی ایران رو نشون بدم که یکیشون استفاده از تی که روی این حرف تی که میبینین به معنای تور هستش، براوزرهایی که تور دارن روی خودشون روشون نصب شده، و وی به معنای وی پی ان هستش. طوری که تور کار میکنه خیلی خیلی ساده و خیلی کلی اگه بخوایم توضیح بدیم، طوری که تور کار میکنه این هستش که بسته داده‌ای رو از کاربری که توی ایران هست میفرسته به یک کاربر دیگه و از اون کاربر به کاربرای دیگه. بنابراین فرستنده همیشه تغییر میکنه و این باعث میشه که کاربر همچنان گمنام بمونه و این یک مقدار بین، یعنی ممکنه 4 بار 5 بار بین این کاربرا بگرده تا اینکه بتونه از کاربرایی که از اینترنت ایران استفاده میکنن خارج بشه و به یک کاربر خارج از ایران برسه. این یک راه هست که خوبیش اینه که خیلی خیلی کنده اصولا، و اینکه این یوزرها، این کاربرایی که بسته داده‌ای بینشون مخابره میشه همشون کاربرایی هستن که این تور رو روی براوزرشون نصب کرده باشن. ولی نکته خوبی که داره اینه که همیشه گمنام میمونه. البته این 100% نیست و به هیچ وجه کاملا امن نیستش استفاده از این از تور، ولی کن نسبتاً امنه. ولی بسته داده‌ای که میرسه نهایتاً به خارج از ایران گاهی ردایی از کاربر اصلی رو داره، بنابراین این راه 100% امن نیست ولی نسبتاً امنه. راه دوم استفاده از VPN و طوری که VPN کار میکنه اینه که برخلاف تور گمنام نیستش، اینکریپتده و کاربر اصلی روش همچنان همیشه هستش، اینطوری نیستش که گمنام باشه. ولی طوری که VPN کار میکنه اینه که کامپیوتر شما طوری کار میکنه که انگار توی ایران نیستی و خارج از ایران. مثلا اگه تو ایران دارین براوز میکنین اینترنتو، طوری عمل میکنه که انگار مثلا توی برلین هستین، یه جایی خارج از ایران. بازم اینم VPN هم 100% امن نیست، 100% قابل ردیابیه کاملا، ولی خوبیش اینه که سریع‌تر از تور کار میکنه. Maral, you can keep going.
Right. Okay, thank you. So now we know a little bit about the technical stuff. We know that websites get filtered, users are watched, and that you have circumvention tools to get around censorship. And we also know that internet can be really slow. On that note, just to give you a figure, according to Iranian officials, there are, as I think, I might be wrong with this, I will look it up, there might be, from those people who use the internet in Iran, it's, I think, 78% of internet users still use dial-up connections. Dial-up connections are, I mean, this is also something that I don't need to explain to an Iranian audience, but it's a connection that uses your ISPN, and you have these cards, you type in a number, and then you're online, and it uses your phone connection to get online. Those connections are slow. It's only 56 kilobits per second. That visualized, or that in a way that to understand how slow it is, imagine, I mean, over here we have high-speed internet, and it takes a split second or let's say 5 seconds for me to download a song here. In Iran, with a dial-up connection, I need 12 minutes to download a song. So in that sense, this is one of the things that you can bring into this big matter of online repression, that slow connections are still very common. Infrastructures are not built up. Internet, if you have if you have the facilities, or if you have the right to get like a high-speed connection, you're one of a few people only. So slow connections are part of online repression, especially then when you see only pixel row by pixel row pictures loading in your browser. So internet using the internet becomes painful and not very entertaining. So from this one, from the circumvention tools, we go into the panel that is strictly and only based on data. It's the Iranian Blogosphere. Yep, it's that. And really quickly explained, what you see here is 4 blog hosts, or 3 blog hosts and private domains. So the private domain blogs are down here. This graph is sliced, so you can see this dotted line that goes from here and there. This is a slice of private domain users, bloggers. This is a slice of Blogspot bloggers, and this is a slice of Iranian blog host bloggers, such as we have PersianBlog.ir, and we also have BlogFar in this one. And then we have a few WordPress people. The blogosphere, when we talk about the Iranian blogosphere, we don't talk about users who are only inside Iran. The blogosphere, the Iranian blogosphere especially, is international. So this inner part, the core of this, is representing bloggers who live inside Iran. Everything inside this thick border is inside Iran. The middle part here, this line of a few blogs, is of bloggers of whom we don't know where they are. So they might be inside Iran, they might be outside Iran. And the outside part is bloggers who are located outside of Iran. I just wanted to mention again that this is a top 100 of these blogs that you see here are the top 100 blogs from a blog aggregating website that we found online. Small Media helped me to code the data that they found. They gave it to me, I visualized it. So what happens, again, you still have the eye in the middle. It doesn't matter if you're inside Iran or of an unknown location or outside Iran. Then looking at this, so let's have a look at the caption. I defined, so a blog is this thing in the middle, and the blogs have different categories, right? Not all of them, this is also something really important, not all blogs are politically motivated. And the ones which are politically motivated are just a really tiny subsection of the blogosphere again. Most bloggers blog about everyday issues, about literature, about satire, a lot of satire is there, and sports. There's also, but not in the top 100 though. Everyday includes diaries, it includes sports, it includes those kind of things. IT is also super common. So that's the spikes. The spikes show you the category. We have 3 sizes of the number of followers. If the core in the middle of this icon is pretty much full, it means that you have, I'm not going to go into detail, this is just really curious, you have a lot of followers, and then it decreases and becomes slower, your audience becomes smaller, but you're still in the top 100. The shaded core means that you're filtered. And Right, so the IR domains have a black outline, and anything else has a white outline. What was interesting here, because I received a spreadsheet, and looking at spreadsheets is sometimes really scary, because it's just a spreadsheet. You've got numbers and rows, and it's usually you don't really know what it's about until someone comes and visualizes what is in the spreadsheet. Interestingly, what we found out now, if you had the chance and stood in front of this visual yourself, you would be able to read this data yourself. With this visual, you can see what kind of topics are most likely to get filtered. You can see that every blogspot domain is filtered inside Iran, which in this case means that the bloggers who use Blogspot inside Iran, they have to use circumvention tools in order to actually reach Blogspot, because Blogspot itself is filtered inside Iran. So these people here, they are all filtered, not because of the topics that they serve, but because they use Blogspot, and Blogspot is filtered. And Blogspot also is now called Blogger and owned by Google, so it makes sense. Same as WordPress. There's not many WordPress users in the top 100. Then we have a few people, which is interesting. What I found really interesting in this data set was that there are a few people who use Iranian blog hosts, even though they live outside Iran. So the thing with Iranian blog hosts, with BlogFan, Persian Blog, IR, and so forth, is that they play under the rules of the Iranian authorities, which means that anything that you post, anything that they disagree with, will lead to deleting your blog. It's not filtering, but your blog gets completely deleted from one day to the other. And that's absolutely arbitrary and very random sometimes. There's no guideline on how to have a great not filtered and I don't know, like a blog that is safe. So from one day to the other, we'll get to that in the next panel. But these people who are outside the country, they know that their blogs are not filtered, as we can see here, up until that point that I had the data. It might be different today. And what happens is that they know it, and they still decide, instead of using a different blog host, they still decide to go with an Iranian blog host. Same as the users inside Iran who use Blogspot or WordPress. They know that their audience is not necessarily inside Iran. That's just a very, very little fraction of the Iranian blogosphere. There is much more. The topics served, and when we talk about the blogosphere, the Western media always likes to point out the Iranian blogosphere as a very political one. It's not true, and the biggest part of the blogosphere is people who blog about IT. They blog about sports, and of course there are conservative bloggers as well. So all of these bloggers, who create this big network, they have their sub-networks and communicate with each other in this way. And not every blogger in Iran is an activist. Well, this is something that is very misunderstood by the Western media.
یکی دیگه از فرمای سرکوب اینترنتی که توی ایران اتفاق میفته و یکی از فاکتورهایی که باید بهش اهمیت بدیم اینه که 70% کاربرای ایرانی هنوز دارن از اینترنت دایل آپ استفاده میکنن که خب همون باش آشنایی داریم می‌دونیم چیه و سرعت پایین این اینترنت خودش باعث میشه که تجربه اینترنت کاربر یک تجربه آزاردهنده و دردناک باشه به جای اینکه یه چیز راحت و مطلوب باشه و این خودش یک بخشی از سرکوب اینترنتی ایرانه، همین اینترنت کند
این پنلی که الان داریم بهش نگاه میکنیم پنل وبلاگستان ایرانه و همونطور که میبینین من هستایی که وبلاگ نویسی من به 100 تا وبلاگ پربیننده ایران نگاه کردم برای ساختن این تصویرسازی و بعد به این نگاه کردم که یوزرهای خارج یا داخل از ایران از چه هست وبلاگی استفاده میکنن. تعداد خیلی کمی از این 100 تا وبلاگی که من نگاه کردم از وردپرس استفاده میکنن. بی که میبینید برای بلاگ سپات، پی برای پرایوت دومینز اف کورس و بعد این مرز مشکی که توی وسط میبینید این نشون دهنده یوزر کاربرایی هستش که از داخل ایران استفاده میکنن و بعد خب میتونید نگاه کنید که هر کدومشون از چه هستی استفاده میکنن، حالا بلاگ فای یا بلاگ سپات یا هر چیز دیگه ای. بعد اون مرز دومی که ببینید که کمی نازک‌تره و دور اون خط سیاه کشیده شده، اون هیته وسطش وبلاگ نویسایی هستن که ما نمیدونیم میتونن داخل ایران باشن، میتونن خارج از ایران باشن و بعد هر چیزی خارج از اون مرز دومی وبلاگ نویسایی هستش که خارج از ایرانن. بلاگ سپات کاملا در ایران فیلتره و کاربران باید برای دسترسی به بلاگ سپات از VPN یا فیلتر شکن یا چنین نرم افزارهای استفاده یا پراکسی استفاده کنن. جالب این بودش که توی این 100 تا وبلاگ پربیننده که من نگاه کردم یه سری از نویسنده ها هست، یه سری از نویسنده های اینا خارج از ایران زندگی میکنه ولی همچنان از سرویس های وبلاگی داخل ایران استفاده میکنه، مثل بلاگفا مثلا. چیزی که اونجا اتفاق میفته اینه که بلاگفا مثلا وبلاگ شما رو فیلتر نمیکنه ولی پستی که غیر مجاز باشه یا نامناسب باشه بلافاصله دیلیت میشه و هیچ قانون و قاعده‌ای هم نداره که دقیقاً بدونی که پستی که ممکنه دیلیت بشه چیه یا چجور پستی مجازه چجور پستی مجاز نیست. و بعد ولی جالبه که اونا میدونن که با وجود اینکه دارن از یک سرویسی استفاده میکنه که خودش پستای آدم رو محدود میکنه و دیلیت میکنه، آگاهانه به این کار ادامه میدن و اینکه تصمیم گرفتن که این کارو بکنن. ولی این بخش کوچیکی از این وبلاگستان ایرانیه. نکته دیگه که میخوام بهش اشاره کنم اینه که رسانه‌های غربی همونطور که گفتم خیلی علاقه دارن که نشون بدن که وبلاگ نویسی ایران، وبلاگستان ایرانی خیلی سیاسیه، در حالی که این اصلا درست نیست. بیشتر این اصلا حقیقت نداره. اکثر وبلاگ‌های پربیننده‌ای که توی ایران وجود داره راجع به مسائل روزمره است یا راجع به آیتیه یا چیزای دیگه. Thanks, Maral. You can keep going.
Okay. Okay. I don't know how much time we've left. I lost the track.
I think we have around maybe 10-15 more minutes.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's okay. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. So from here again, we got a little insight of who you are, who the people are who use the internet in Iran, who are the bloggers. We have unveiled one misconception, which is...
You lost your video, Marajan. We don't have your video now.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Am I back? Okay.
Yes.
So we unveiled a misconception, which was that Iranian bloggers are all and every individual one of them is a political one, but no, that's not what happens, and they are users just like outside Iran. Everyone has hobbies, everyone has a diary maybe online, so that's a challenged misconception. From there we can go directly these users as a vast number, because is my image there or is it gone?
It's there.
Okay. So so from the vast number, from the data that I had about the Iranian blogosphere, we can now go into a few case studies. It has been from when I started doing this. There have been more cases of users who have got into trouble with Iranian authorities. So this is where the infographic transforms from something that started in to talk and to tell you more about the digital stuff that is related to anything that is about the Iranian internet, to something that becomes much more personal. So digital becomes much more personal by bringing up case studies or real happenings that users have experienced. And so this is also the point where I can sum up the different kinds of online repression that exist. So it's not only that's your emails or your traffic, your data that you send and receive can be looked through. It can be scanned. Everything gets stored. Every data that you send and receive gets stored. So that and let's say, for example, you have a blog. Let's talk about Omid Mirsayafi, who was the first blogger to die in prison in Iran, and he was not a political blogger. It's this man here. He wasn't a political blogger. His topics were music related. He wrote satire poems and had his fictional ideas of the future of Iran. But in the eyes of the authorities, his fictional ideas authorities in the regime. So what they did was they arrested him once, and then another time, and they brought him to the Evin prison. They tortured him, and what they did as well was that they printed out his blog posts, and one day they just appeared in front of his house, took him, arrested him there. So it's something that he wasn't even warned about, right? So he was writing his blog thinking that he would harm nobody, but in reality he has been watched, and he didn't have a trace of that. There was no way that he could tell that or no sign that he could tell that he's been under surveillance. So this is where online repression shows you, as one very radical and sad story, that it is arbitrary, and it's online repression is there to make the users feel insecure about their actions. So he was only the first blogger to die in prison, right? And these bloggers or these users, when they get into prison, they get treated like people, like murderers and real criminals, let's call them that, like people who have caused harm to other people. But he's just a blogger. He's just writing. He was just writing about things that were of his interest, and that was his death sentence. And then you've got a lot of other cases of people who are not even residential in Iran anymore, but they have been under the radar of the Iranian government anyways. So everybody knows Hossein Darakhshan, and everybody knows Saeed Malikpour, who he was the one who created. He only programmed the software, photo sharing. I think it was a photo sharing software, which was used by a pornographic website. And when he visited Iran, he's a Canadian resident. He was accused of being a pornographic whatever. So he was right. I think a few hours or days after he arrived in Tehran, he was arrested, and that's his story. I was waiting for there was a death sentence on him as well. These people as well, they get out. If they want to get out, they have to pay a crazy bail. So Hossein Darakhshan officially had to pay $1.5 million to get away from his 19.5 years in prison, which is also incredible, and in no relation to anything else. Another blogger, it's also that I'm trying to recover a story that was just recently. It was somebody who got out of jail for, I think, £2.50 or something. It's a ridiculously low amount in comparison to what these people have to pay to get out, because they get accused of this. It's a lot of sentences that they then also have to go through. So it's not only that they blog about things that the Iranian authorities disagree with, but they, at the same time, because of what they write, and because of the vague regulations in Iran, they get accused of being spies. In Hossein Derakhshan's case, it was that they accused him of being a spy for Israel because he visited Israel once. So they make the cases even bigger than they are, and that is just a few of the bloggers, individual bloggers. Then just last year or the year before, there were also cases of people who had Facebook groups. There was one which was very big in the Western media, was the flash mob, which was organized through Facebook, and this was a flash mob because it was very hot in Tehran, and people were just organizing a gathering where they wanted to use water pistols and make each other wet in the park. Everybody was arrested. And another case was a beauty contest page on Facebook. The I think it was two people who ran the site, they were arrested, and they had to go on national TV, as far as I know, and apologize for their non-Islamic behavior online and for being members on Facebook. So there's, the content that you serve is sometimes not even the reason why you get arrested. It's just sometimes very, very random, and the purpose of arresting these kind of people who use Facebook is also to get people to make people feel insecure about their online behavior. So they censor themselves. There's a few bloggers who said, if I have to censor myself when I write about the matters that are interesting for me, I won't write at all. And that's exactly what the Iranian authorities then, they aim to do exactly this. I think we can translate.
خب تا حالا ما یه باور غلطی رو که راجع به اینترنت ایران وجود داره و اون اینه که وبلاگ نویسی تو ایران خیلی سیاسیه، تا حالا نشون دادیم که یعنی اشتباه بودنش رو نشون دادیم بر اساس این داده ها. ولی میدونیم که این درست نیست، بخاطر اینکه تو ایران هم مثل هر جای دیگه خیلی یوزرها علایق مختلف دارن، راجع به چیزای مختلف میخوام بنویسن یا کار کنن، صرفا راجع به سیاست نمیخوام بنویسن. خب از بین ارقامی که من راجع به ارقام نسبتا بزرگی که من راجع به آدمایی داشتم که به خاطر وبلاگ نویسی یا استفاده اینترنتیشون دچار مشکل شدن، چند تا مثال اینجا دارم که میخوام نشون بدم و به حال بخش من اینجا توی اون سطح شخصی، توی اون طبقه بندی اصلی که کرده بودم، به طبقه سوم یا اون بخش شخصی ماجرا میرسه که من مطالعه موردی میکنم که سر هر کدوم از این آدما چی اومده. میتونیم سرکوب اینترنتی ایران رو حالا یه خورده جمع‌بندی بکنیم راجبش. چیزی که واضحه اینه که همه چیز علاوه بر اینکه نظارت میشه، ذخیره هم میشه. یعنی هر گونه داده‌ای که مخابره میشه داخل نتورک اینترنت ایران ذخیره هم میشه. یکی از این مثالا امید میرسیافی هستش که وبلاگش اصلا سیاسی نبود، طنز مینوشت و راجع به یک آینده داده تخیل خودش از ایران که اومدن دم خونش رو دستگیرش کردن و به زندان بردنش و حکم اعدام براش صادر کردن به خاطر اینکه این تصوراتش از آینده خیالی ایران برای رژیم توهین‌آمیز بود. و بعد خب توی زندان قطعا شکنجه شد ولی چیزی که راجع به اون هست اینه که هرگز نمیدونست که قراره که چنین اتفاقی بیفته. یعنی یه وبلاگ نویس بود که داشت وبلاگش رو مینوشت و بعد یک روز اومدن دم خونش و دستگیرش کردن و توی زندان هم با این آدما طوری رفتار میکنن که انگار جنایتکارن، نه اینکه صرفا یک کاربر اینترنتی که داره چیزی مینویسه. کسای دیگه که میشه ازشون اسم برد حسین درخشان بود، سعید ملکپور بودش که یک برنامه به اشتراک گذاری عکس رو طراحی کرد که یعنی این برنامه به طور اتفاقی توسط یک حالا یا غیر اتفاقی توسط یک وبسایت پورنوگرافی استفاده شد و بعد اونم به خاطر این قضیه براش حکم اعدام صادر کردن اگه اشتباه نکنم. بعد حسین و بعد این آدما وقتی که دستگیر میشن ودیعه‌های خیلی بزرگی میتونن بذارن که از زندان بیان بیرون. مثلا حسین درخشان 1.5 میلیون دلار ودیعه‌اش بود که بتونه بیاد بیرون و بعد به خاطر گنگ بودن قوانین توی ایران سر استفاده اینترنتی به خصوص و حالا چیزای دیگه این آدما رو کیسای این آدما رو پرونده‌های این آدما رو خیلی بزرگتر از اون چیزی که واقعا هستش رو میدن. مثلا بهشون تهمت جاسوس بودن میزنن یا خیلی چیزای بیشتر. مثلا یکی دیگه از استفاده های اینترنتی که آدما به خاطرش دچار مشکل شدن یه فلش ماب بود که یکی از گروه‌های فیسبوکی ترتیب داده بود که آدما توی پارک ظاهر بشن و بعد آب بازی کنن و بعد همه اون آدما دستگیر شدن. و یا یه مسابقه زیبایی آنلاین بودش که باز اونجا هم وقتی که ردیابی کردن و یه آدما رو پیدا کردن همشون مجبور شدن که بیان توی رسانه‌های دولتی و اعتراف علنی بکنن. چون که دلیل دستگیری آدما خیلی خیلی بی‌قاعده است و خیلی رندوم اتفاقیه، اتفاقی که میفته نهایتا اینه که کاربر پیش خودش فکر میکنه که چه چیز ممکنه اونو دچار مشکل بکنه و بعد این باعث خودسانسوری میشه. یعنی به جای اینکه خود رژیم بیاد سانسور بکنه، کاربر خودش در خودش سانسور میکنه که مبادا دچار مشکل بشه به خاطر محتوای وبلاگش یا عملکرد آنلاینش. و من مثلا بعضی از نویسنده‌ای که مثلا باهاش صحبت کردم یا یک نویسنده‌ای که باهاش صحبت کردم مثلا میگفتش که اگه قرار باشه که من محتوای نوشتم و سانسور کنم و بنویسم ترجیح میدم که اصلا ننویسم و این همون چیزی هستش که دقیقاً رژیم ایران میخواد. Thanks Maral, you can keep going.
Yep, thank you. Last panel is where the power comes from. So who makes these regulations? It's not the president, it's not the parliament, it's not the Guardian Council. Maybe it is the Guardian Council, but from the core of all decisions that are not only politically related, but also culturally related. And we can say nowadays that internet is also a cultural matter because that's where you get your information from. That's where many people get knowledge from or entertain themselves. So it has become part of culture. So internet now is also part of the culture, and therefore it needs to be regulated. And this is how it looks like. So what I visualized here is the Iranian political system. In the middle we have the power source, our Ayatollah, and then what we have here, I mean, I'm not going to go deep into detail because that's not relevant right now, but it's what you can see. It's pretty much a pyramid from the top, and he sits on the top, basically. It's like a bird's eye view on the power structure in Iran. And he has his arms going everywhere, whether it is to choose the six members of the Guardian Council or approve the president, or to regulate military, to regulate education and also surveillance. And after I finished my master thesis, I have to just really quickly find the thing that I want to say, is that there was a new institution founded in Iran to regulate, in March 2012, Iran's supreme leader created a new agency responsible for managing the country's cyber policies. And the name of that agency is the Supreme Council of Cyberspace. That means that so online repression has now another layer. So it's not only the cyber police, it's also an institution by itself, which then probably can decide what is approved and what is okay for the government or for the authorities, and what is insulting, what is a lie, and what can cause trouble. And that is what happened there. How they regulate the internet, how they practice online repression. There's one thing that I wanted to say, I can't remember right now. But this is pretty much the end of my infographic. What happened then? I mean, after I finished this, a friend of mine who's a filmmaker, he made a video of that. So that everything that I just told comes into like 3 minutes video footage that explains to you really quickly and in a shareable way what the Iranian internet is.
پنل آخر که نشون میده که اینترنت امروز یک بخش از فرهنگ ایران هستش، بنابراین دولت به این نتیجه میرسه که باید نظارت بشه و بعد برای اون قوانینی تعیین بکنه. این پنلی که میبینید، پنل آخر، در واقع هرم ساختار قدرت توی ایران رو نشون میده در رابطه با سانسور اینترنت. که همونجور که میبینید این در واقع زاویه بالا، زاویه دید پرنده هستش که از بالا داره به این هرم نگاه میکنه و در رأس این هرم، در بالای اون هرم، مقام رهبری وجود داره که قطعاً بعد حالا با ارگان‌های دیگه‌ای که مثل مجلس یا ارگان‌های نظارتی و قانونگذاری و غیره در ایران. و یه چیزی که هست اینه که در ماه مارس 2012 احتمالاً اول سال شمسی بوده، رهبر یک ارگان جدیدی رو راه انداخت که از اونجا به بعد دیگه فقط پلیس نیستش که یعنی ارگان پلیس نیستش که داره نظارت میکنه به استفاده اینترنتی کاربرا، بلکه خود این ارگان هستش که داره نظارت میکنه و نشون میده که اسمش هست شورای عالی رهبری فضای سایبری، که نشون میده که اونا هستن که تعیین میکنه که چه چیزی مجازه، چه چیزی نیست، چه چیزی فرای خط قرمزه یا چه چیزی نیست، چه چیز باید فیلتر بشه یا نشه، و اینکه چه چیزی باید چه کسی مثلا باید دستگیر بشه یا غیره. و حالا میخوام من یک ویدئویی نشون بدم که یکی از دوستام که هنرمند هستش یه ویدئویی از همه این اینفوگرافیک که من ساخته که توی 3 دقیقه همه این چیزایی که من توضیح دادم و به صورت انیمیشن بهتون نشون میده.
Okay. Thank you.
People say the internet has made the world a smaller place. Internet access means access to information, and some people are pushing for free and open access to be considered a basic human right. We know that censorship happens in our backyard too, but one country that certainly doesn't allow a free flow of information is Iran. No one knows exactly how many Iranians have access to the internet. Estimates vary from between 15 to 47%, depending on who you ask. For example, Iranian officials once declared that 17 million Iranians were on Facebook, then 2 weeks later reduced that figure to 6 million. Sometimes it suits the Iranian government to declare that Iran is well connected, and sometimes it doesn't. All we know for certain is that there are people online, surfing through a filtered and censored internet. The Iranian government is threatening to build what they call a halal, or pure internet, and switch their users off from the World Wide Web entirely. Each user is under the watchful eye of the government. Each click, each website visit, each email sent, and each blog entry written is seen and recorded by the cyber police. Private households are limited to painfully slow connections. Service providers are forced to filter the web, making thousands of websites inaccessible. Some Iranians, however, use technologies to break free of the halal net, though none of the exit routes are entirely secure. Canada-based Hossein Darakhshon, who many call the Iranian blogfather, was the first person to provide a step-by-step guide to blogging in Farsi. Today, the Iranian blogosphere is one of the largest in the world. But whether bloggers are for or against the government, all run the risk of having their blogs filtered if they say the wrong thing. Major foreign hosts like WordPress or Blogspot are filtered, yet bloggers inside Iran still choose these platforms because the government has full control over all blogs and websites hosted within the country. Iran has started a soft war against users who refuse to play by the rules. Iran's new cybercrimes law is vague and unreasonable and is being used to inflict harsh punishments on computer users. Omid Mirsayofi was the first Iranian blogger to die in prison. He blogged about music and wrote satirical poems and stories. His is just one of many cases. Hossein Darakhshon was accused of being a spy and imprisoned for 20 years while visiting his family. Because it only takes a few clicks to become a dissident, Iran is full of accidental activists who are caught up in the crossfire of the soft war.